Hey, hello everyone, Sean Simons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 92 of PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. Tonight we are talking with Nick Jones. Even though he has less than 50 flights, he's already flown in 3 different states. He's done different cross countries and flown in many different LZs, which is awesome because most people, it takes them more than 100 flights to do such a thing. Maybe it's him or maybe it's his instructor, Brook Sheffield, also known as PPGPirate. You can find him at PPGPirate.com. And don't forget, if you want some awesome training and you're in the Central Arkansas area, get up with me, Sean Simons. You can find me over at ParamotorArkansas.com. You want to see my crazy shenanigans? Go to iFlyParamotors.com. Otherwise, kick back and relax and enjoy the tale of Nick Jones. And we are live. That is so cool. I'm glad that we're live. Looks like we got a couple of people here that are actually waiting for us. Darren Locklear, Brian Waller, Fly Baby Fly, PPG. Welcome, guys. Glad that you're here. This is going to be an awesome podcast. Well, as always, I mean, we always have great podcasts, right? So let me introduce everybody real quick on the panel. We got Will Fly. Find him at Will Fly PPG. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good. Yep, I'm excited to be here.
What shirt are you sporting tonight?
This is from the Moonshiners convention.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
I saw Nick fly, and that was kind of cool. But I love flying paramotors and making videos about my experiences. And you can find me at youtube.com, willfly, or willflyppg.com.
Ooh, I like that. willflyppg.com. All right. We also have Linda Anderson. What's up, Linda Anderson? She's our ParaMomUSA.com. She's our cheerleader.
That's right.
That's right. I see actual pom-poms. That's pretty cool.
I know. These go like way back to the Arizona Cardinals game. Yeah. When I have my season tickets and everything, they gave these out to everybody, and I was like, oh, yeah. So I just saved them from year to year, and now I got all these. Yeah.
If anybody wants to be on this podcast, just go to ParaMomUSA.com and it'll go to Linda Anderson's Facebook. Just message her and say, hey, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, and she will get you on. She will book you. I promise you she will.
I'll hook you up.
Woo, woo, woo. We also got Brian Haybale Waller in the house. What's up, Brian?
Hey. I couldn't find any hay bales today, man. I flew for a whole hour and I found a bunch of peanut farmers and no hay bales. It was frustrating, but I still had fun.
Awesome.
Been getting a lot of flights in lately with my dad, and that's been really awesome. We've been flying low and putting on shows for the local people and just having a good time, man. Living the dream.
Awesome. Are you still posting to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, from time to time.
All right. Well, how would we get to your YouTube channel?
So if you go to ppgbrian.com, it'll take you straight to my YouTube channel, and you can check it out. I haven't been posting as many videos lately. I'm trying to make less, better videos, but we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Well, I'm your host, Sean Simons, also known as PPG Grandpa. Tonight we have PPG Pirate Brook and also Nick Jones in the house. What's up, y'all?
Woo! Arr!
Oh, he's a pirate. He's a pirate. So why are pirates always mad?
I don't know.
They just are.
We just are.
They just are. Awesome. Well, PPG Pirate, Brook is also a trainer, and tonight we also got Nick Jones. He was your first student, right?
Yeah, my very first and my best student so far.
Ooh, I like that. So, welcome, Brook. Welcome, Nick. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I guess, Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into paramotoring?
Yeah, well, I've just always had a huge aspiration for flight. I always wanted to be a pilot, and up until recently, the Tucker Got videos pulled me in and started doing my research and reaching out, and Brook just happened to fall upon me. I had planning on going to aviator, planning on going to UFO paramotor, and just ended up buying a wing from Brook, and it all went from there. And then he, got certified to train, and I waited for that because I knew he'd be a good trainer.
So you told us before the show started that you didn't even know Brook, and you just wanted a wing. You ended up going to look at Facebook Marketplace, and Brook just posted a wing that you wanted like an hour ago. I mean,
yeah. Well, I had reached out to several different trainers, trying to find out a schedule and everything. And then, while I had them, I was like, well, I want to go ahead and get rolling with my wing so I can start practicing with it and, start kiting so I can have a little one up on the competition. And they all recommended the Mac Paracharger 25 meter. And I just happened to hop on, and I had already I just looked at all the different, top brands and everything, and nothing was ever posted in my area. And so I hopped on that one time, and an hour before Brook had posted. So I met up with him the next day, and we've been good friends since.
That's awesome. Was he a trainer at the time?
He was not. He was, I don't even know that he was planning on being a trainer at the time. He just loved to fly. And, so he liked to, he also loved to teach people to fly. So he carried me along, a few times to the field, and, just showed me how to get the wing up, and just got me practicing. And then several weeks later, he told me he was going to get certified, and that's when I was like, well, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to go anywhere else. So that's how that happened.
That's cool. So Brook, you went and got certified, and Nick was your first student. How did that first student, roll?
Honestly, Nick was almost ready to fly before I even left to go get certified. He was just kiting really strong, and I knew I wanted to be a trainer after I helped him, because I knew I was going to naturally just help people, because that's kind of my personality. If somebody wants to do something and I know how to do it, I'm probably going to help them. So Nick was one of the reasons I went and got my license to train. And honestly, I don't know if I would have done it had I not kind of met him. I wouldn't have been so eager to. But Nick was, again, before I got my license, he was already kiting really strong. I helped out with Epic Paramotor out in Arizona to get my license, and had some experience with the 5 students we had there. But coming back and teaching Nick was the most special of times in regards to training, because he really was my first student that I got to call off the ground for flights. And man, he just really did really well. And it made me want to train, because it didn't seem as hard as I thought it might be. Maybe I just had a really good student, especially now after a few more students. I wish they were all like Nick, but it's just been awesome. Nick was a really good student. He's a great pilot. He's a great guy. And I'm just proud to fly with him and be his friend now.
That is really awesome. Now, Brian Haybell Waller, he was down there when you guys were training. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard he was having a class, and there was a spot for me to park my camper and I could fly. And I said, I will be there. And I knew it was going to be his first foot launch class. And of course, I had just been there for my own training with Brook, where he gave me a trike transition class, which you can check out on YouTube. He transitioned me from a foot launch into a trike using his gear. And then I came home and, basically learned to fly my retractor trike. And I've been triking ever since. So Brook taught me, and now he's passing it on to other students. I've got to meet another class that he was just at a few weeks ago. And, another great group of people. Everybody you meet in the sport is just, they really want to be there. They want to be successful, and we want to do the best we can to make that happen. And, I saw Nick train, and it took a lot to keep Nick on the ground because the weather conditions weren't perfect. They were just good enough he could kite. There was one time that one of his first power taxis, I believe he got a couple feet off, 1 or 2 feet in the air, and then landed it. So that was probably his first flight. He wanted to go, and he was ready, but the weather did not cooperate while I was there. So unfortunately, I did not see his first flight. That happened like less than a week later, I think. Yeah, I just saw hopefully I'm going to get to see some video of it here shortly, but it was cool just to be part of that group and to teach people. And it kind of sparked a little passion in me to do the same thing that Brook's trying to do.
Well, that is really awesome. Now, I guess a lot of people are asking, themselves right now. So, Nick, are you foot launching or triking? Or if you're just foot launching, are you going to trike in the future?
I'm just foot launching right now. I mean, I don't see why not give it a try at some point, but right now I'm just loving foot launch. So for now, I'm going to stick with foot launch, but I mean, I don't know.
How old are you, Nick? For everybody listening, 25. So Nick is 25 years old. He's probably at least 6 foot. He makes it look easy. He does not need wheels, but there's days it's nice to have them, for sure. And one of your new friends happens to be somebody that can get you into some wheels too. So I would not do it because you don't have to. I would try it.
Well, Nick's he's got a Parajet Maverick coming, and I'll have a retractor around, and I'm sure he'll try it out. He's not the kind of guy to say no to anything, really.
Yeah. Real men foot launch though, Nick. So you're doing good.
Well, when you go to a fly-in and you have to go from where you are across the field, having wheels is really nice.
Yes.
Just saying.
No doubt.
So, Brooke, you started off transition triking as an instructor, and then you went to instructing for a foot launch. Is that correct?
Yeah, I kind of just picked up the trike thing naturally. It just kind of happened, and Brian wanted to switch over to trike, and it was just my first opportunity to train someone on something that I knew I was competent in. So yeah, I do offer trike transition. I offer tandem flights. But I'm ultimately just here to help people get into the sky any way they want to. And at our last class, we had a guy who was foot launching for about 20 flights. He had previously gone to another school, and he just got to the point where he was like, man, I don't think my body can do it. And so we switched him over to trike mid-class. So, I mean, ultimately, I'm just here to help people get into the sky, whether it's with wheels or feet. Doesn't bother me. They're both fun, and they're both easy to do if you really get good instruction and you have right equipment. So yeah, trikes and foot launcher, either way, I love it.
That sounds really awesome. Now, before we keep on going, we're going to be showing some really awesome footage of Nick learning and also his first flights. But real quick, before we continue this, Brooke, how does someone get up with you to learn how to fly, and where are you located?
I'm located mainly in Asheville, North Carolina. Our training facility is at the Johnson City Airport in Tennessee, which is about an hour north of Asheville. I also train for Carolina PPG, so we have locations all over North Carolina, from Hillsborough, North Carolina to Rockingham, North Carolina. So we're kind of all over the place. You can get in touch with our training either through Carolina PPG, or you can reach out to me on Facebook at Red Pill Paramotor, or you can find me at PPGPirate.com.
PPGPirate.com. That sounds awesome. I love the name. How'd you get that one?
Yeah.
Brian, if you would like to roll some of his footage, let's go ahead and look at some of Nick's footage. And while we're looking at, if you would, Nick, let us know what we're watching, because this is also, not only is it a video podcast, but also you can find this as an audio podcast by searching PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app. Or, of course, go over to paratalk.org. So, Brian, go ahead and show us some footage. And, Nick, let us know what's going on. And also...
Oh, all right. Let me see if I can figure out how to work this technology. We don't I'm not exactly JP Tulo.
Oh. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I know what I'm doing. I just missed JP, and he's our IT guy.
I know. I missed JP.
All right. So this is one of his first taxis that I have video for. I don't know if it's his actual first one.
All right, Nick, go ahead and narrate for us, buddy.
Not sure which video this is, but I have no intention of leaving the ground. I'm just taxiing, and I'm not sure exactly what had happened. I know the winds were extremely switchy that weekend. Could have been me, could have been both.
Now, how long were you kiting before you went over to school? Because you got your wing first, and then you were kiting, and then you went to school, correct?
I had probably at least 6 or 7 outings for an hour or two each. Yeah, just afternoons doing it. But I'd had my forwards down pat pretty good, but I got something grabbed me during training, and like something I was doing incorrectly basically, and I was just overthinking it, and it caused me to have a lot of failures in the first day, but I finally got over that during the second, and I think that was thrusting my A's forward, causing frontal collapses was my biggest issue. Was not an improper form.
So as we're watching this, I'm sure some people are probably wondering, what time of day is this? Like, is there thermals going on, or is this early in the morning, late at night?
I believe this is about middle of the day. You can see the thunderstorms trying to fire up. We're just trying to get in a little taxi practice before the rain moves in. But like I said, the wind is just all weekend long. It was coming over the mountain, so you were getting a lot of turbulence.
Yeah, there was some rotor coming off those buildings and stuff. I mean, it was not the perfect conditions, for taxi practice. But if the conditions were better, he would have been flying. So we were just trying to make the best of what we had.
Was that an Adam 80 you were wearing?
Yes, it was.
So you trained on an Adam 80?
Yeah. And, ever since that, I've flown a Nitro 200, but I'm looking forward to my Moster 185 Parajet coming in soon. Because I've had a few issues with mine.
This question might be a little personal, but how much do you weigh?
170.
Okay.
Whoa, Jim, that's way too personal to ask a dude when he's flying a paramotor. So you weigh about 180 pounds, and you train on the Adam 80, but you're getting a Moster 185 or Nitro 200, you said?
No, 170. And I've been flying. I've probably logged 35, probably close to 40 flights on the Nitro 200, and I love it. It's a great running motor and everything. It's just it's having those Nicosil issues. Too many people I hear are having, and I just hear better luck. Aside from the pull starts, I'm hoping I don't get plagued by the pull start issue with the Moster.
Dude, I just saw you run into the air for the first time.
Is that what we saw? Did we just see you take your very first flight?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Nick's first flight right here.
All right, Nick, what's going through your mind as you're getting ready to take your first flight, bud?
My brain is scrambling at this point. I'm trying to get rid of the jitters because I'm kind of my hands are shaking pretty good. Just trying to take deep breaths at this point because I'm nervous leaving the ground for the first time. But once you get in the ground, I feel like my nerves calmed pretty quick. You can see I almost had a frontal collapse right there. I held the A's a little too long.
Looks like he did a foot drag, showing off a little bit.
He did a foot drag, all right.
Cool.
So yeah, he started on the Adam 80, and he quickly jumped over to the Nitro. He handled the power pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, is it normal for people that are about 170 pounds to jump on a Nitro 200? Or what normally happens, and how did he get a Nitro 200?
Well, I don't like to give anybody more power than they need to start. And oftentimes I'll train people underpowered at first, especially on the ground, before we give them any more power than they need. The Atom 80 was kind of right on the edge for him. He could have done both. I encouraged him to actually stay on the Atom 80 for a little while. He ended up getting a really good deal on a Nitro 200 and a wing and a helmet that he really just couldn't turn down. So also Nick's got a background in motorcycles and handling more horsepower than usually anybody should. So yeah, he quickly took on to the Nitro, and yeah, it didn't seem to be any issue for him at all, really.
Well, I have to admit, I would love to get a Nitro 200 and check it out because I'm running a Moster 185. So, hey, real quick, behind you, Nick, what am I seeing behind you, and is there any significance to that?
You talking about this? Honestly, no, there's not any significance to it. That's the spare prop on the deal Brook was just telling you about. He threw in 2 props, and that's the one that was on it. And honestly, the end is delaminated about 3 or 4 inches, and everybody has told me it's unrepairable. So it went on the wall. But yeah, I do have one prop destruction, and that was on my 3rd flight. It was on that same day you just watched that video, and I tried to jump over a 1 wheel, and my foot went through the prop. My heel, because I got long legs, and my heel caught the prop. But that's my only destruction story I have to share.
I got that prop right here.
Yeah, and tell us, because we're wondering what happened to your heel.
Oh, well, luckily I had a decent set of boots on. They weren't the best. I've since upgraded to impenetrable boots, but these ones,
Steel heel.
it was probably one skinny piece of fabric from hitting my skin. So I mean, it was really lucky. I was at full power, and I threw my foot back into it, just trying to. I got or target fixation real bad on a 1 wheel, and I just followed it. And at that point, I had already taken 2 flights, and I could feel starting to get lift, and I was like, I'm going to clear it. And then I didn't clear it. So I just kind of over exaggerated a jump over it. And, in real time, what I thought happened was I thought my foot hit the 1 wheel and then in turn threw my foot back into the prop. But when we watched it on the video, totally different. I jumped like 2 feet too early and just threw my own foot back into the prop and then hit the top of the 1 wheel. But luckily I stayed on my feet and I wasn't injured. Nobody else was injured. So I guess that was a successful story in my book.
This was your 3rd flight. Did I get that right?
Yeah. So I was going for my 3rd flight of the evening after, my 1st flight, same evening, and I didn't get into the air. And I was really bummed out because I did my, what do you call them? My routes and everything real good. They were happy and everything. So they're like, well, once we get you up in the air and you're comfortable and everything, Waylon's going to follow you up, and, you'll do like a little mini explore outside the route. So I was excited for that, and it didn't end up happening that day, but just glad everybody's good.
I'm glad you're okay. You are the 3rd person that I know that has got their boot into the prop, and the first one I know, he was in my class. Chop Shoey is both of them got the call sign Chop Shoey at Aviator, and the one guy that was in my class, he had 2 slits in the backside of his boot, and one of them you could stick your finger through from the inside, but it didn't cut his sock. So yeah, wow. I mean, it can happen. And then I hear about people that love launching barefoot at the beach, but yeah, you can't sit early, and you can't do some crazy run once you're in the air where you keep your foot back into the prop,
sprints, definitely not like over exaggerated runs, stuff like that. I mean, I guess if you were wearing, under adequate shoes, I'd say you'd want a good headwind, so you're not having to run your ass off, But
we saw somebody over at Bad Apples do the same thing. They were running and got their heel caught.
Yeah, like I could show you the boots, but it was so close. I'm just glad it didn't get my foot.
Oh, I got the video.
Yeah, we would love to see it if you're willing to share it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, hold on one second. I think I got
any
it
of his
here.
first landings too. I mean, because it's hard to kind of figure out your first times. Now, you didn't have any toes previous to your first flight. Is that correct, Nick?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, give me one second.
Baby, go, 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 go. I wonder if he's saying go.
Yeah, the timing's off on that. Now watch, he hits that. There, it's all going down.
The shoe came off. Oh man.
So for people that are listening to this, Nick, can you play that again, Brooke? And Nick, can you go through kind of step by step, literally, what happened and what's going on in this video?
Yeah, well, I mean, I lined up, and I should have said something because I mean, I was about as a beginner of a pilot as you could be. About let's move the one wheel. So that was my fault. I was thinking it in the back of my head.
That was my fault.
Well, I'm going to put the blame on both of us because I could have just as easily said something. And you're beginner trainer and everything. Hey, we both learned a valuable lesson that day. If you see something that's off before you commit to a launch, or even when you're committed to a launch, it's best just to abort. But I thought I was going to clear it. I just kept going. And, the more you look at it, the more you run right straight for it. I mean, I had 15 yards on either side of it I could have avoided. But
Nick, the way I look at this, man, is it cost you a prop, and you learned that experience about target fixation at a very young time. I mean, your third flight.
I've learned to fixate on open ground over something.
I'm trying to show you the piece of prop that you can see shoot off of this thing, but it's not really giving it to me. Oh, there it is. You see it in the top left-hand corner?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So wait,
that's the prop, and you can see his left foot. You can see the top of the heel has just been hit. He hasn't even touched the one wheel yet, and the prop is already shot off.
But so his shoe's about to fly off his foot, basically?
No, he doesn't lose his shoe.
So I thought something landed on the ground on the other side of the one wheel.
That was the air box.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, got it.
Oh.
Yeah, watch, you'll see the air box.
What damage happened to the motor?
Nothing, just the prop.
Just the prop and the air box fell off.
That's it. Yep. Yeah, we were. I had another prop right in there. We were good to go just a minute later.
Yeah, I was more nervous because he had a triple prop, a 3-blade prop he put on after that, and I was like, oh gosh, we don't want to get rid of this one too. But I took care of that one.
Don't throw that other prop away, Brooke. It's still repairable, man, for sure.
So
Nick, when I saw your background, I was like,
I'll rethink that.
I have a question about this one wheel thing going on. So you're running down the field, like, because you want to fly, whatever. But what is the point of the one wheel? You have to what? You have to like put one foot on it and just kind of glide across the grass and then jump up in the air. I'm just trying to figure out the whole concept.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with flight. It's just kind of a convenient mode of transportation for the trainers.
Oh, gotcha.
And someone accidentally left it in front of you, and you tried to move out of the way, but as a beginner, you weren't able to move out of the way, and you stepped on it.
Yeah, that one's all on me. I told him that was my prop break, not his. So it's all good there. Valuable lesson learned. Everybody's all right.
Yep.
I was just trying to put it all the, me. I ask questions. I put it all piece together. Okay, so the one wheel's out in the grass, and you're trying to take off, and so the wind wheel really wasn't supposed to be there, or was supposed to be there?
Was not. Not.
Gotcha. Okay.
And just in case you all didn't know, Lynn Anderson does not fly. She's the one. She's the newbie here on the panel that keeps us down and level, because it's something that if you don't fly and you're not around fly-ins and you don't know about the one wheel, you don't have any idea. So she's the person that needs to ask these questions, and that's why she's here to ask these questions that slip our minds, because we kind of understand. So for newbies out there, everybody better give Linda Anderson some thumbs up on this podcast, because she's trying to hook you all up.
I'm telling you, it takes a minute, but I'm watching all this, and then I'm thinking in my head, okay, what is the concept of all of this? Okay, so, and then I ask you guys, okay, I get it now. Yeah, so it's pretty much like, don't try this at home.
Yeah, don't leave your one wheel out in a runway. Absolutely.
Just a little side note on that story. It is possible to ride a one wheel on a paramotor. I've seen it done. AJ Goen and Judson did it down at Aviator, but you got to have that good constant 10-mile-an-hour wind to stand in one spot and just kite your wing.
I would say, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this was an accident. That one wheel wasn't supposed to be there, but here's a landing.
Okay, I get it. At least everybody was okay.
Is this his first landing?
That was my second landing.
Second landing.
I had
Nice.
my foot slid just a little bit on my first, and the cage just bumped the ground, and I popped back up. So I'm not going to claim that as my first, but yeah, that was my second.
You know, I had the opportunity to hang out with the guys, Brook and Brian, and while they were doing training in North Carolina. And first of all, I was impressed with the training right on, Brook. And secondly, I got to experience some first flights, and man, that never gets old. The first thing I actually ran, didn't segue. I ran almost the full freaking length of the run with this grass strip so I could see the expression on the pilot's face. Man, it was totally worth it, you know. And it made me think of it when I saw your big smile there. That was a sincere smile. You were really, really excited, weren't you?
Yep. That was one of the coolest moments of my life.
Nick, you're flying the Mac Para 25, right?
Yes.
And where do you set your trims when you're taking off?
I almost always set them to neutral, unless it's like a no-win situation. I'll sometimes kind of find a happy medium between trimmed all the way in and neutral, or trimmed all the way in. But 95% of the time I'm at neutral, and I don't have any problems. I feel like I'm a little underweight on that wing. Like I'm trying to find a 23 right now. I'm trying to find somebody that would just trade me straight up the 25 for the 23, similar hour type situation. And I have an Ozone, the original Ozone Spider in 24, and it does feel a little bit closer to my weight range. I like it a lot. It's got a little bit of damage right now. I accidentally threw it over my shoulder and it touched my exhaust, so I got a little hole burn in it right now. So I got to send that off to get repaired. But I love the Charger. The Charger's a great wing.
I actually fly the exact same wing. So I was curious about your weight because I feel as though I'm underweight on it. And you were flying with the Atom, which would even be lighter. So how many flights did you have with the Atom on that wing?
I would say, because Brook did let me borrow it for a couple of flights after I got my nitro running, because I had some issues with it. But I would say total probably around 10 to 12, somewhere in there. So
were you able to notice any difference really between the weight of the one and the other?
Weight-wise, no, but climb rate, yeah. You talking about with the two different motors?
Yeah, because with the nitro, you would have been quite a bit heavier, I would assume.
Honestly, I would say ready to fly, it's probably only 7 or 8 pounds heavier than that Atom 80 is. It's a very light setup, the nitro is.
Yeah, I don't know about the nitro. I know the Moster 185 is like 9 pounds more than the Atom 80. But I'm not sure about the nitro.
I mean, they claim 42 pounds dry is what they claim, but I do have a reserve on there and, a full tank of gas and all that. That adds up real quick. But yeah, dry, not ready to fly is 42 pounds. So that's pretty light.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think mine was 58 dry without the reserve.
Yeah.
With the Moster 185.
So I some more weight. That's why I've been filling my tank to the brim, whether I'm going on a 30-minute flight or a 2-hour flight every time, just trying to get used to that weight, because I know it's going to surprise me when I throw that Parajet on my back.
So have you been in a fly-in yet, walking around with a paramotor on your back and basically just forgot it was there, started talking to people?
Yeah, with the excitement and adrenaline after a great flight, I have done that once or twice. Yeah. You don't notice it after an awesome flight like that till you do.
That's cool, man. I mean, you're there, man. If you can experience that, then carrying that thing around your back is nothing anymore.
Yeah, if you talk to anybody who went to Moonshiners, they'll all tell you about how difficult the launches were and how shifty the wind was. And Nick went there with his maybe. How many flights did you have under your belt when you went to Moonshiners?
I think I had between 10 and 12.
Yeah, and he didn't fail a single launch there, I don't think. He had a long taxi.
That's right. I failed 2 because my motor, that's when I had the major motor. They were carburetor issues is what they were. I couldn't get my motor, like the last 1500 RPM, it just wasn't there. I was like maxing out at 55. And every time I'd leave the ground, I would just sink back down and have to run it out, sink back down. And, I should have, that was the beginner pilot in me. Now, if that ever happens, that's why you do full power run-ups. And if you're not getting it, you don't go for it in the beginning, to start with. So, but I'm glad I handled it as well as I did because, I ended up jumping 2 ditches doing that, running it out. I ended up having to, take a long sprint and jump to clear the ditches. But after that, I was done trying.
So that was your.
I remember that long run that you took.
Yeah. Yeah, I surprised myself. I thought I was like, this is going to end real badly.
I was just thinking about you, Will, when I was going to ask this question. But Nick, this was your first fly-in, right?
Yes.
And at Moonshiners, and where I saw you. Did you see anybody on this panel land in the water by chance, or foot drag the creek? Now, my question is, were you tempted to fly low over that creek like everybody else was?
No. At this point, I hadn't even gotten a taste of foot dragging, and now that's all I ever want to do, honestly. But I probably still wouldn't attempt the creek. I'm just like, I obviously you wouldn't need flotation, I guess, for that little creek, but still, I'm not ready for that yet. Definitely not. But I enjoy weaving in, cornfields and stuff like that a lot. I've even got a taste at hay bales. I realize that they can get sketchy real quick. I understand your situation. So I tend to stay away from them now.
We all fly, man. I am not special with hay bales. I just screwed up and got too close to one. Everybody loves to get low around them, man. It's just, it draws us in like a magnet.
Yep.
Just look for power lines. Power lines are my biggest fear. Well, you don't look for the lines, you look for the poles. But anyway, look out for those, man. You don't want to be flying.
Yeah, sometimes in big fields, you don't see the power lines in between. There's just a big long line between the field. So you're flying around and all of a sudden there's a big power line and you don't even see the power poles. It's crazy.
Yep.
On my next video, you might hear something about power lines.
Uh-oh.
What?
I'm just saying, I don't know, Gotta check with my peeps.
Well, how would somebody go there and make sure they subscribe and find out?
Yeah, I did. Will Fly on YouTube, or they can go to willflyppg.com.
So go to willflyppg.com, subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell notification. So when he does put that little interesting video up, you are already notified. You know what? I also heard that Nick, he only had less than 50 flights, but he's done more than most people in their first 50 flights. What kind of interesting things have you done, like cross countries and things like that nobody else gets to do on the first 50 flights?
Yeah, I have yet to, take off from a desk, a location and go to a desk, with a pickup vehicle and all that stuff.
Well, that's not true. You had an inadvertent cross country to the dump the other day.
To the dump.
To the old dump you did.
What?
Remember when you landed out at the old dump where the RC field is?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had it was my fault. I had a motor out because, sometimes since my motor's electric start, I'll enjoy getting to altitude. Obviously I will make sure that there's plenty of outs below me in case my motor didn't start back up, and I'll just kill the motor and just kind of glide in silence, just listen to the wind rush past you. It's pretty freeing, honestly. I enjoy doing it a lot. But this time when I went to fire my motor up, it was nothing, like not even a click. So I didn't know what was wrong at that point. So I immediately zoned in on a field and landed safely and everything right next to a couple coyotes, which I thought was pretty cool. But it ended up being next to a prison, and I was in this gated field. Like, I didn't even know how I got out of there, but Luckily, I just took the motor off my back and said, "Oh, my battery came unplugged." So it was a very simple fix and was able to launch right back out of there. But yeah, I know.
Wow, by a prison. Oh my
I was
goodness.
flying over the prison. I thought it was these cool group of people. Everybody's waving. And I realized it's a bunch of prison guards going, "Get out of here. Get out of here." So we got this whole group of people that are about to fly over the prison. So we take a left and Nick's just spiraling down, landing in the fields, and we're all just freaking out. And it's right beside the river. I mean, a huge river.
Oh
I
my.
swear it was so cool. I just look up and I swear it looked like a swarm of buzzards up over my head. Everybody was just like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Oh, everybody knows where I'm at." So that's a plus.
Oh my goodness. I do have a question. Everybody here that's on the panel, and for all you guys that are out there that are listening to this right now, especially if you can jump in that super chat. All right. So if you take off at your LZ and you have a motor out and you land someplace, is that considered a cross country?
Unintended cross country.
Unintended cross country, but that is a cross country, is it not? I mean, you take off from an LZ, land someplace else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Define land.
Well, define
That's-
cross country. I mean,
Yeah.
are miles involved? Does it have to be a certain distance or?
Right. So we need people in the chat to let us know what they think a cross country is. Is there a certain amount of miles you have to go for a cross country? Is there such thing as that mini cross country, kind of a cross country in that Icarus race? Let us know. Let us know in comments in the super chat, and let us know over at paramotorarkansas.com if you're listening to this and you're not able to jump in that super chat. So what do you guys think?
Who's in the chat so I can say hi to everybody?
This famous dude named Will Fly in the chat says something about anything over 500 miles should be considered an XD.
Yeah, definitely.
If you can do that in a paramotor,
I mean, that is the Icarus race. You're right. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. Let's go ahead and go back up to the very top here. We got Darren Locklear, Brian Waller, Fly Baby Fly, PPG. Scrolling down, Will Fly. Shannon Brooks.
Yay.
Hey, Sean Simons is there. How about that? I don't even know who that guy is. Kent Stamey. What's up, Kent Stamey? He flies too. You can always find Kent Stamey at kentstamey.com. Let's see. Now, is that Mad Sloper or Mads Lopper? I don't know.
That's Sloper.
We got, hey, he's famous now. I was able to say a couple of names from him. We got Mark McElroy from ParalifePPG.com. If you haven't gone there,
I know that guy.
Go to ParalifePPG.com. Check out their shirts. They are the most softest, amazing shirts. I hate to say that because you can also go to ILovePPG.com and look at my merch. But I'm saying this, but don't tell anybody. But he has some better shirts than I do. We also got John Wayne in the house. He also goes by Geriatric PPG.
Cowboy.
Welcome. Glad that you made it here, guys. Yeah. And have I missed anybody? Let me scroll down a little bit. There's a lot of chatting in the house, so we definitely appreciate you chatting in the house. We got Nick Griffith. Welcome, buddy. Eric PPG Lear. So if you want to check out Eric, he has a show on Tuesdays. You can find him at ppglear.com and check out that. And but if you want to jump on and sport your name and tell us what's going on Tuesday, definitely do that. We got Randy Milstead. Deweese Milstead, what's up, Deweese? We got Para Ninja. I like that. That's pretty cool. We also got, we should have paramotorgirl.com because she has a all girl paramotor podcast on Wednesday, paramotorgirl.com. Anybody else out there? Did I miss anybody else? There's a lot of chatting. We appreciate you chatting in the house. Yeah. Is there any questions? You guys see any questions that anybody had? Anybody on the
I saw a question. I think it was pretty much addressed, but Mad Sloper was asking how a shoe could go through the paramotor, how it could go through the frame. but I think we addressed that with the video.
Yeah, Walter from Australia is in the house also. Hey, so Brook is he is an instructor. How often do you think shoes go through the prop, and what causes that, and what could keep you from having a shoe in the prop?
From what I've seen, it's typically people who have really long legs. And if you could stand and lean your back foot behind the hoop, I think there's always a chance that could happen. I've seen it happen mainly when you do something out of the ordinary, which Nick did. He tried to avoid an obstacle, and by doing that, he did like a little jump, which led his foot to end up in a place it usually wouldn't. At my last training, not where I was a trainer, but where I went to train, a guy was exaggerating the run, and they tell you to run into the sky, run into the sky. And if you've got really long legs and you do kind of a exaggerated run into the sky, even when you're in the air, there's the potential for maybe that to happen. So I think different setups, different hoops, maybe the harness not set right on your back, or you having really long legs, or trying to jump over something on the runway. It's definitely kind of an odd thing to happen, but you definitely need to factor it in as a trainer or as a student. So when it comes to footwear, I think you should definitely think about it. Nick was lucky, he had some good footwear on and it protected him. I'm actually slightly surprised we don't see it as an injury more often, but it seems like in this sport, if you stay in it long enough, you'll find some way to mess something up or get hurt. So yeah, watch out for the chop shoey.
Is there a particular type of boot that you would recommend, or something, or some sort of footwear that you'd recommend for students that might have long legs and maybe they feel like this could happen to them and they don't want this to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend, a good hiking boot that has a high ankle protection with a really thick heel. I think leather would help. I don't really like heavy boots because those can be, a disadvantage on the field because of the weight. But I do think the more protection you have around your feet, the better in regards to protecting yourself, especially when you're just starting out, when you're more inclined to make a mistake like that and your form isn't great. So you'll see most training schools when they send out their little packets about what to expect, they'll tell you to bring at least one or two pairs of over the ankle protected boots. And so that's basically what I encourage. And I now kind of take a look at each one of my students and gauge whether or not their height and the way their legs are is a risk or an overexposure to that. So yeah, it's definitely in my brain now.
Awesome. Anybody in the chat that has ever ran and got their boot caught in the prop, let us know, because, it doesn't seem to be that big of injury, but it may not even be an injury, because we saw that over at Bad Apples, but, I don't think he told anybody, but we saw it. Were you saying something, Brian?
Yeah, John Wayne mentioned in the chat earlier, I saw he had a snake boot on that he got into the prop. Broke the prop, didn't hurt the boot. I remember seeing that. So, but this guy's name is John Wayne, so I can't imagine much would tear him up. So he's pretty tough.
Say, Nick, what type of shoes did you get? You said yours are impenetrable.
Ooh.
Okay, I stepped away for a second. What?
What kind of shoes did you get? You said yours were impenetrable.
Oh, I just had some. I was actually running to go grab the boots, if I'm being honest. But I was gonna show the cut that it made. They're just Rockies. They're slip-on boots, which I've since upgraded to higher, boots with much more ankle support. Ones that actually, tie around your ankle and really grab hold of it. Some fields, might have a groundhog hole or anything like that, and if you're running, looking at the wing tips, looking directly in front of you, you're not looking at the floor all the time. That could save your ankle from being, twisted. You might just run right through it. With the boots I got now, I'd probably just run right through it, not even know, as long as I didn't trip and fall. But you know what I mean? I wouldn't twist my ankle at least. But these are the boots I was wearing when I first started. and they don't provide much ankle support. But I gotta say, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm on the wrong side. There's the prop
Oh, yeah.
strike.
Oh,
Oh,
And
wow.
that bit of white you see right there is the last line of defense from my feet. I mean, it was so close. I can actually dang near poke my finger from the inside out. But
Wow.
for the
they're
for the people that are listening, for the people that are listening, can you kind of describe for the people that are listening the boot and what it looks like and where the heel strike is?
Yeah, it's just like it's a slip-on boot. It doesn't have any laces or anything. It's fairly thick in the back. It is fairly thick, but like I said, my new boots are even thicker. I don't think that a prop strike would phase them as much as these. But hey, it saved my foot, and leather I think was the key in that. Like if I was wearing tennis shoes, I think it would have went right through my tennis shoes, and
Oh,
could have
yeah.
got my Achilles tendon. It could have got my heel. I don't know what it would have done,
Sure.
but it could have been a lot worse. So I definitely recommend it, like Brooke said, at least for a beginner, first 50 flights, whatever. But till you get your form perfected, if that's a word for this sport, get yourself some good boots because it could.
So what are the new boots that you got then?
I'll run and grab them real quick.
Gotta see this. Yeah.
All right.
The good thing about those boots he was just showing was that they didn't have any hooks on or eyelets on them that would.
Right, and these do.
snag
I have
right
not
along.
had an issue with it.
Yeah, there they are.
I always wear pants with them, and I'll run my pants up to here, towards covering the hooks. But I mean, these things are they are a little on the heavy
Yeah.
side, but I don't seem to notice them at all. But when you tie these up, they really gives you lots of ankle support and steel toes. I don't know that that's something you would need, but the back, that's what I was looking at when I was browsing for boots. I was like, I want something that a prop would definitely not go through. So
Yeah.
I think I found the winner in those.
You
I got some
already
pretty
ran
good.
in, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Linda.
Oh, so you already ran in those, you've already ran in those boots then? You flew in those boots already?
Oh yeah. Honestly, after that happened, I may have flown 2 or 3 times in those boots again. And then I was like, I need something with some ankle support. So my last probably 30, 35 flights have been with my new boots. And I feel like it helps my launches because like I said, nothing phases your running. It
So
just
they're
keeps your feet.
not too heavy, right? When you're running?
No, I don't notice the weight at all.
Okay.
And and also they're great for wintertime, wear some nice wool socks and your feet won't get cold up there, which I have yet to do a winter flight, which I'm not very much looking forward to, but I'm going to have to learn how to dress for that stuff.
Yeah, heated gloves, battery powered gloves that heat those are amazing. Usually to about 45 degrees. Under that, the wind still whips through them and it seems like it kind of freezes my fingers. Unless somebody has some sort of battery powered electric gloves that are windproof. Does anybody have anything like that on the panel or in the chat?
Well, what I do is I went to Cabela's and I got some of the windproof gloves that they have there. They have a particular brand it's Cabela brand. And I just slip those right over top of my gloves. And I've been flying in 32. I've 32, and then when you get higher, obviously it gets a little bit colder. And they seem to be doing okay.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Jim is a Canadian, and he flies in some really cold weather. What's the coldest weather that you've actually flown in, bud?
32.
That's it. That's the coldest so far. So, okay. Well, this winter is going to be really interesting. I can't wait for you to actually, share with us how cold it gets. Now, Nick, where'd you say that you live and fly?
I'm in Hendersonville, North Carolina. That's about 45 minutes south of Asheville, North Carolina.
And you went on some pretty extravagant flights. So can you tell us some of your adventures that you've had?
Yeah, well, like Brooke said, I have a what seems to be a pretty unique story as far as like how many different locations I had flown in so few flights. I think it was by my 5th flight, I'd already flown in 3 different states, Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So I thought that was pretty neat. But I mean, we just go where the weather will allow for it. So I mean, I've probably racked up 10 plus LZs, I would say now easily. But my favorite has to be a sod farm we fly, I would say, down here in Hendersonville, because we are about 10 minutes away from Lake Lure and World's Edge, and that kind of stuff. Some evenings is just stunning. So yeah.
Yeah, he gets to do. I mean, there are some paramotor people that pay up to $1,500 to come fly here, to go to certain places that I've heard about, and he does it as his regular flights, like flying over towards Chimney Rock and Bear Wallow and just some of these really big mountain ranges we've got out here. It's just not what you're going to see typical Florida training flights. I think in his like 6th or 7th flight, we were over the French Broad River and a big gust front came in from a cell that just developed out of nowhere. He's just been adventure flying from the beginning, which is, I don't think he realizes just how unique that is. Like my first 30 flights were in Florida, and he's just got some really tight LZs and spots that I know guys with, 50, 60 hours that don't even touch. And he's just knocking them out of the park. It's really impressive.
That is really awesome. So you said that your favorite so far has been the sod farm. What has been like the scariest or the sketchiest that you've been around so far?
Well, the sketchiest was definitely the hay bales. Like I was telling Brian earlier, that was several weeks ago. I had to kind of tame it down. I was getting a little crazy. I was slaloming a little bit between some hay bales and came up to the left and got a little close to the tree line and pulled a little bit too much right. And I swooped pretty darn close to the ground. I was moving pretty quick. So I tamed it down ever since that. I was like, well, low level's fun and everything, but you definitely got to respect it for sure.
Absolutely.
And I would say on probably my 7th or 8th flight at the sod farm, it was really turbulent, really choppy. And I was coming in for a landing and it was throwing me. And, I still hadn't developed the concept for oscillation correction on approach. And what I did was I basically made it worse. And I had a really bad swoop, like right before landing. And, I was able to flare and everything. And it slowed me down to a safe speed as far as vertical, but horizontal, I was still moving. So it just my wings surged ahead of me and drug me through some soybeans. But I didn't even get a scratch on me, but that was definitely a little nerve wracking, especially since I had so few flights under my belt. But yeah, no equipment harmed, and I wasn't harmed. So another successful landing, I guess.
That's awesome. Are you plan on doing any interesting or long distance XCs in the near future?
I would say absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I guess the next thing I want to check off, it's a little bit in the future, but I guess we're planning a SIV course in February down in Florida. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh,
That is awesome. I love the SIV courses. I have to say that that's one of my favorite things to do is being towed up, 4,000 or 5,000 feet, then pulling A's and just dropping out of the sky. It's amazing. And then when you can't recover, you pull a reserve and you float down and land in gator filled water. It's amazing. You can't. I'm sure you can't wait.
I can't wait. I hope I don't have to pull the reserve though. That's going to be some sketchy stuff, I'd say.
No, pulling of the reserve is the whole reason why you go to an SIV, so you can actually feel what it feels like to pull a reserve. So you know what it feels like to, number one, pull a reserve, what it feels like to go down, how to pull your wing in to do a stall ball. Because when you land, or you're going down, you don't need your other wing or your main glider to be up flying around. You need to pull that booger in and get ready for that landing.
we got to see that video again, Sean,
What's that?
Hey, Nick,
of you
Nick, did you?
doing the SIV.
What'd you say, Brian?
Nick, I assume you probably saw the aviator video of the SIV class that I was in with Brook and Scott Sham come in. That was crazy.
That was a great video. It was just so deja vu for me seeing that video for the first time. It's like knowing everybody in the video and everything. And I was like, this is crazy. Cause I was honestly just YouTube clicking and it popped up and I was like, I had assumed since that event actually happened several months prior that the video had been out for a while. I was like, why has nobody told me about this? Why have I not found this sooner? And it wasn't until the next day I discovered it. Oh, it had just been released. But yeah, that was a really cool video to watch for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Reese, the videographer down at Aviator, man. He is
very good.
He does a really good job.
Oh yeah,
something to aspire to for anybody that wants to take videos and put them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed that video. That was done really well. I agree.
It sounds like we got a bunch of people that want to do this February SIV, man. I volunteer to come down and video for you. How about that? What you got, Will? I saw you about to jump in there.
Yeah, well, I was just curious if somebody's looking to get into the sport and they stumble upon a video or whatever on YouTube, how much time passed between when you made the decision that, when you wanted to fly a paramotor to when you actually flew a paramotor? How much time passed?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yep.
You mean like when I discovered it on YouTube?
Well, when you made the decision that there's something that you wanted to do to when you actually did it.
From the time I decided it's what I wanted to do, I would say at least probably 3.5, 4 months passed before I was actually thrust into training and everything like that. But I mean, I'm glad I waited. I could have signed up for the first Joe Schmo that popped up with an available course, and I could have went and got training almost immediately. But I'm glad I waited for Brook for sure, because like I said, I discovered a whole new group of friends in the area and everything, and it worked out really good. So I'm happy I did.
Right on. I think you made the right choice.
Yep.
Absolutely. Just so you know what to expect when you throw a reserve, I do actually happen to have that on here. So I've got a couple of camera angles. You're going to dig this one. So as you can see up in the upper right-hand corner, they're videoing me as I'm flying. And you can see a 360 cam that I tried to be able to. So they say throw, reserve, reserve, reserve. It takes 9 seconds for it to inflate. So 10 seconds for emergency and 4 seconds from the throw the reserve for it to actually open. So I actually timed this to actually see what this, how long it takes. And so there's the main glider in front of me. So I'm stalling that, and you pull that in. And as you can see, that's actually called a stall ball. And the reserve is above my head. It's just a regular round one.
Dude, you look so relaxed and in control in this video. It's crazy.
Only because, it sounded fun to throw a reserve in a SIV course, and then splashing down. Look how fast you actually land. Now, if you imagine if this was not water and this was land, watch this. You can see that it's not going slow. It's 5.5 meters a second, which is about, 12?
Yeah, 12 or 13 miles an hour is what I told. That's impressive, man. Yeah, reserves are known for saving your life over land, but potentially breaking your back. You're going to hit the ground at some speed, but they will save your life. That's why you want to do it over water.
Yeah, 5.5 meters a second is about 12 feet a second, 13 feet a second. So you're going down at about 13 feet a second underneath a reserve. So you want to be able to actually, look up, see what's going on, fix that wing, but make sure that you're not down far enough where you can't throw that reserve. That reserve really is the last straw. I mean, you want to fix that wing before you get down, underneath, I'd say 250 feet. You want to make sure that you throw probably about 500 feet. So make sure you fly high. So do you have a reserve, and how high do you normally fly?
I do have a reserve, and I'm known for typically flying really high, higher than the rest of the group, I would say. Like I said, I've recently gotten into a lot of low level flying and stuff like that, but it's not unusual for me to be cruising 2,500, 3,000 feet. And if I, sometimes I'll do a few little spirals and, some little wing overs and stuff like that. Nothing major, but I definitely want to make sure I have plenty of altitude below me.
So you're pretty comfortable with going pretty high up? What's the
yeah.
highest you've been?
Yeah. I've been 4,500, 5,000 feet above the ground, above AGL.
Almost made it.
Yeah, because I've been 6,500, sea level, and it was about 1,900, ground level where I was at. So yeah, about 4,500. Yep.
Perfect.
You know what's keeping me from taking? I got a buddy that wants me to do an SIV there, and you know what is keeping me from really wanting to do it?
What?
You touched on it. Sean touched on it. Alligators.
Oh,
Seriously, man. I mean,
You land in the water like I did, and you wrestle the damn alligators. What's wrong with you, Will?
am I like an idiot or something, or am I missing?
Where you from? You don't have alligators where you're from, Will?
I'm from Florida, so I mean, I'm familiar with alligators, but am I the only one that seems to be concerned about that?
well, they're generally pretty non-aggressive animals.
Yeah.
I mean, towards humans. I mean, crocodiles are the ones that go out of their way to kill you, usually. But
yeah, sorry for Walter down under in Australia, man. You got to watch out for them crocodiles. No, alligators are not that bad. We used to ski right by them on the Chattahoochee River all the time when I was 18, 20 years old.
Not that bad. Okay, so if I see a not that bad alligator, he's not going to bother me. Is that what you're saying?
No. And if you do, what you do is you go underneath, grab them from underneath, and put them in a chokehold. That's all you got to do. I mean,
so that's the real reason someone goes to an SIV clinic, is so they know how to wrestle alligators.
Exactly. Learn how to throw the reserve and wrestle the alligators away. It's awesome.
I'm good with the gators and the fresh water and the moccasins and all of that, but I will not do this over the ocean with sharks. There is no way.
No,
I'll take the gators. I'll pass on the sharks.
Oh, the sharks are not that bad, Brian.
Yeah, not that bad. And piranha are not that bad as long as you don't have a cut. It's no problem.
Oh my God. The vision here. Holy moly. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Well, I guess if you're in Alaska,
alligators.
you'd be worried about the grizzly bears if you're in Alaska, maybe. I don't know, or the moose.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Do not want to wrestle the moose. They get tangled in the lines. Their antlers just get tangled in the lines. It just messes everything up.
Yeah.
I see Jim laughing. I think he's got a moose story already. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Jim, you got a moose story?
Oh, well, I don't have any moose story, but there are a lot of moose up here. We see a lot of them. It's really cool to see them up in the air. They try and
fly?
You fly. You see them up in the air? That's amazing.
They're not that bad. They're not that bad.
I've never seen moose up in the air.
Santa Swiss teams.
What's
That's
that?
what those antlers are for.
Now I know moose and squirrel, but squirrel's the one that flies.
There you go.
Hey, since we're talking to Jim and he is from Canada, hey, do me a favor, tell us about your scratch and sniff money.
Oh my goodness, I haven't had any booze.
All right, if you guys never been to Canada, you got to grab some of their money and scratch and sniff because it actually has different smells. Now, tell us real quick about the smells.
Okay, there is one bill that has a smell, and it's the $100 bill, and it smells just like maple syrup. But
it's the scratch. That's the scratch and sniff one? Is just the maple syrup?
Yeah, that one's like maple syrup. So the 100, the 50 doesn't smell like strawberries. The broccoli, number 20, doesn't smell like broccoli, and blueberries. Not quite. But the 100 definitely smells like maple syrup.
So there's some there's some factoids that you may or may not have known, because who thinks about maple syrup $100 bills in Canada when you go to PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast? I wouldn't, but there you go. You're welcome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got scratch and sniff money here in the U.S.
Yeah, the $1 bills, but be careful how much you scratch those.
It's the $100 bills. They smell just like cocaine.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Holy
my
moly.
goodness.
There you go.
Anybody have any questions for Nick or Brooke by any chance? Anybody on the panel and anybody on the super chat?
So I got a question for Nick. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you've had an incredible start so far to this sport. You had some good training and a lot of cool experiences. Where would you like to see yourself in a year? You know, progression wise. You want to be on the Paradigm team, or you want to do barrel rolls, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to keep experimenting with acro. I mean, I know everybody probably says this is they don't want to get too crazy, but I mean, I definitely want to do some more cross country, and like honestly, I'd really love to someday own a travel rig, with sleeping quarters and gear hauler and all that stuff, and be able to actually explore some of the awesome sites that our country has. And then because it gets expensive if you're traveling, having to stay in places, Airbnbs and all that stuff. It gets unaffordable really quick. So I need something to house myself and transport everything. So that's honestly what I'd really like to do. I don't really have any aspirations of being on the Paradigm team or anything like that, but you never know where the sport's going to take you. I mean, you meet new people every other week. So what I'm really looking forward is more fly-ins. The one fly-in just didn't cut it for me. I asked Brooke about every other week. I was like, do you know of any fly-ins anywhere near around here? Any fly-ins? So I love that. I love doing that. That's my favorite so far.
You are so lucky because you're in a great part of the country. You're going to get a lot of fly-ins.
Kind of a nice happy medium.
I see a Bromaster in your future, also known as a ProMaster van or something like that, the van life or maybe the camper. Yeah, we're going to be seeing you at a lot of fly-ins. I have a feeling. What were you saying, Sean?
Oh, I was just going to ask, have you ever thought about maybe doing an Icarus race?
Oh,
no, I'm honestly not even sure exactly what that is. That's how little I've looked into it. But
those are the races that like Tucker was in, that you can, it's like 1,000-mile multi-day.
And you stop and fuel
travel
up, and land. I guess you have to land near a fuel station to fill up on fuel and everything.
That would be pretty darn awesome if you landed next to a fuel station, or else you're going to be stuck someplace.
I mean, can you have like a support team to follow you and like kind of?
There's actually a couple different types of races. They got the unsupported ones, and they also got the supported. So if you want to do the actual race, you have to actually land, fuel up, find a place to stay and sleep, and then go the next day. Then they have the ones that are supported, and that's where you can have a ground crew. So you can land anywhere that you want to, do anything that you want to. It's nice to have a ground crew. So yeah, there's different ways of doing the race, and unfortunately, because of the pandemic, they haven't done it. So that's one of the things that I wanted to do. So I'm just gonna have to wait until they're ready to do it. I might sign up for the next Icarus.
I mean, do you need like a more advanced, like faster wing to be able to be competitive, anything like that, or is like a good happy medium like more efficient? Do you get ahead of people, less fuel stops because you're on a more efficient wing? I mean, how does that exactly work?
Exactly. You as the pilot figure out how fast you can get there by whatever ways that you can. More fuel efficient wing, a faster wing, more stops, less stops. So yeah, it's whatever you decide.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll look into it maybe someday.
Sunday. All right. I'm there with you. Sunday, we're going to go.
All right.
I love it when people say Sunday, because I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yankee Paramotor says that Icarus is brutal. And actually, don't you go through like mountain passes and do daytime flying? And
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
year.
Pretty sure Tucker's done it a couple times. And he's put out some videos about it, doing the Icarus race, and he did the unsupported one. But I would love to try out doing the supported one first and be part of a team that, you had 3 or 4 flyers and a couple ground crew or something like that, and try it. Sounds awesome. But, basically, yeah, you have to know everything about aviation. You have to know about mountain flying. You have to know about flying at different elevations, catching different winds, what the different wings will benefit you, which motor's best for you. It's pretty much whoever's the best, well-rounded, lucky pilot wins it, right?
We
Pretty
should do
much.
a ClearProp TV team.
There we go. I like that. ClearProp TV team. So we'll be interviewing for that Sunday, apparently, because that's when Nick said he wants to go out and do the Icarus races on Sunday. So we're going to be interviewing then. Absolutely. No, seriously, that does sound like an interesting thing to do. Maybe we need to find a team that would like to go on Icarus race. And the next time that they do put one out, we need to figure out if anybody does want to do such a thing. I mean, there's a lot of midday flying. So if you haven't done any midday flying, might want to check with an SIV instructor, an advanced instructor, and see about learning about that. Has anybody ever done any midday flying? If you have, what do you think about it? Jim said no.
As soon as the snow falls, I'll be doing it.
As soon as the what?
Snow falls.
Oh, absolutely, because it's so much easier during the snowfall.
Why? Because there's no thermals?
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense, right? It's all white, right?
Yeah.
you betcha.
Just
I'm
cold.
excited.
Cold.
I'm thinking about December 23rd. I'm trying to think, should I fly from sun up to sundown?
Why December 23rd?
Shortest day of the year.
Yeah, solstice.
All
They're
right.
calling for snow that day.
What's that, Nick?
It'll
I
be
said they're
tough.
calling for snow that day.
Well, from what I hear, Jim has no problem flying in the snow.
No.
Over to Moose. Moose is
Or watching moose fly.
And today the meese were really bad.
beast.
The meese.
The meat. What's the meat?
Well, that's the plural for moose.
Oh,
The meat.
funny. The meats were bad. Bad meat.
And don't forget about the placards.
The moose is loose. That's what you say.
So, Brooke, have you done any midday flying?
I've done enough to basically tell me I don't want to do it right now. It's not that I don't feel competent in the air at that time. It's that I don't, I already fly 200 plus hours a year. I don't need to fly anymore. Like, I don't need to chase dangerous times of the day. I'm more inclined to go free flighting on paragliders, explore that part of the free flight into the sport. But I'm not really inclined to take my motor up on my Speedster 3 and midday fly. I've done it to prove to myself I can do it, but it's not where I find joy. It's not where I'm looking to go.
Gotcha. Does your school have a tow machine yet?
No, we don't tow here because one, we have such changing conditions. They're very shifty and the terrain just doesn't allow for it. So I don't really anticipate towing here until I either one, get more experience with it, or two, feel like it's a safe application for our area.
If you ever come down this way, we got a tow machine that can get you up about 2,000 feet. So
Ooh.
Is that the tow scooter?
yeah, it is. And we could probably get you up to 3,000 feet. So if you ever want to just come over here and check it out, just let me know. Come on over.
I love towing, man. What could go wrong?
Towing. Long as there's plenty of water, right?
Yeah, exactly. Towing is dangerous. It needs to be done by somebody that has proper training, proper location, and proper weather for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions for Brooke or Nick in the chat or on the panel?
No, I think it's awesome, Nick. I think you have a big future with flying.
Thank you.
I like your energy. I love your energy and everything, and we're looking forward to having you back on the show and just hang with us because we want to follow you and see what's going on. And
absolutely,
PPGPirate, bringing Nick on and joining our para family and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think you're going to do great. You got some good teachers here and mentors and all that, and so you're never alone. You just hit somebody up and say, hey, I need, what's going on? I need you to do this, do that. Always ask questions. You got a lot of good guys out there that know their stuff. So
absolutely.
Good advice.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. PPGPirate took you under his wing. It sounds like you decided that you wanted to go soar and do your own things, do cross countries, land in dumps, do some fun running and kicking the prop with your foot and tripping over one wheels. You just had a amazing first less than 50 flights going to different LZs, traveling all over the place. You said 3 different states in your first 5 flights. Have you gone more than 3 states so far?
I have not. No.
So that's your next thing, I think. Amazing. You're just amazing. And you are definitely more than welcome to jump on our show anytime you want to. Yep. Kick back as a panel member and let us know your adventures that you're doing. Now, I know that we talked at the very beginning of the show, and you said that you don't have any social media right now that you are posting to, but if you ever do in the future, let us know because we definitely want to follow you and see what's going on with you, buddy.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start uploading more videos and stuff of my adventures on Facebook. It just, I never have over the years, and I got to break that habit of not posting anything. So now that I've got something to actually share with people, something extremely exciting like this sport, I'm gonna start doing it.
And starting off at 25 years old, I mean, I'm more than double your age, and I got started. Man, I so wish I would have got started at 25. That would have been so amazing. So you are really lucky, Ducky.
I'm wishing I found this sport when I turned 19, 20, honestly. But I mean, yeah, I realize I'm in a good spot for it to excel and go anywhere I want to with it. So I'm not going to complain about it. So
absolutely.
Well, we all wish we got into it when we were younger because we just love it, and everything's easier when you're younger and more fit or whatever. And yeah, man, I mean, you got your whole life ahead of you. Just be careful. Be a wise old pilot instead of the opposite. And you're off to a great start, dude. And just be a good steward of the sport. Is all you can really do, pay it forward, man. You see somebody that's screwing up, point them in the right direction and try to help them. And that's what we all kind of do here. We all kind of look out for each other.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Walter has asked a question about a code. I didn't know if you were going to have an after show or not.
No, my mom's over here and we're hanging out. Matter of fact, there's my mom right there. Can you see my mom? There she is, just sitting right there. Hey. So she's sitting here and we were thinking, how about just an hour show? But I mean, this flows so well. I mean, I really love our Monday shows. We get on here and we're thinking, all right, we'll just do an hour show, but it'll flow to an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think our longest one was 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. I mean, we did some long shows, but they were just really fun. I enjoyed them. But does anybody else have anything before we close tonight? Or are there any more videos that we want to show? Anybody on the panel that has anything fun that they want to talk about, or any videos that they want to show? I mean, let's see what's going on.
I got a video
do the
that
group chat, the group picture, like JP does on.
Screenshot.
Yeah, screenshot, that big word. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't
think
think
it's
of it. Yeah.
I think it's Command Shift 4. So 3, 2, 1, cheese. Did it work, or is it 3? One more time. Command Shift 3. Cheese. I think that was it. All right, good deal.
Okay.
All right.
That's how I promote the show during the week. You know, I do my PR thing, Grandpa. Yeah.
Jim, you said you had a video you want to share?
Yeah, I had a impromptu cross country today, or let's say a failed round trip. And, I ended up not having enough fuel to get back to the airport. I'll see if I can, if you guys want to talk about something else, I'll see if I can set this up.
While you're pulling that up, I will say.
I got something for you too. Sorry.
I
want to see me wreck.
Well, everybody wants to see an accident. I mean, it's just.
You want to see me wreck real bad? I got a good video.
Pull that SOB up. Let's watch it.
Yes.
Hold on.
Go for it.
I should have it right here. Tell me if you can see this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep. We see.
All right. Just give me a second. Sean, I messaged you this. This is my $1,000 mistake.
Oh yes, I got that video.
Right,
this is perfect.
You might want to use if you can play the sound, because that sound was priceless at the end.
No.
Nice bounce.
Oh, you landed on your feet.
I fucked it up good.
So what exactly happened for the people that are listening to this that can't see the video? Can you go through the video or show the video one more time and let us know step by step what's going on?
Yeah, let me pull that back up real quick. So this is like at the beginning of this year, I went to Aviator Paramotor, which is where I trained, and I decided to buy a new wing. Actually, I was demoing this new wing, and I had the 2D tied in for the first time, and I had just bought a brand new 3-blade prop the day before, and I was being a jackass doing kind of surge and retreats real close to the ground, and I was really digging the way this wing felt. It felt amazing, but I made the stupid mistake of playing too close to the ground. And I just came in too hot, and I hit my tip steering instead of my actual brakes. And
for those of you that don't know about tip steering and 2D tie-in, tell us real quick what that is.
So typical paragliders and the majority of our beginner wings have just one set of brakes, and then typically they may have option to have access to tip steering, which is a line that goes to the tip that allows for different directional control. On this particular glider, instead of the tips being separate from the brakes, they're tied in, which means pulling in and pushing out kind of give different results in regards to your flare. And I do this too close to the ground, and I pull the tips instead of the brakes. I crashed pretty hard there. Honestly, I really thought I could have broken my legs, but the Maverick just saved my ass. The frame was fine. The only problem I had was a blown prop and a blown net.
Can you back that up? Because it looks like your feet both go behind the cage when you come down. It's hard to tell.
Are you guys seeing the video better than me? It's a little skippy on my end.
It's skippy too. It's jumping a bunch of frames, but all right there, play from there.
Ooh, man, you bounced.
Yeah, that was a much better view.
Yeah, but the titanium frame is what really did the bouncing. And as the frame hit, my legs just lifted up like my knees to my chest. And then as soon as the frame kind of recoiled, I just stood up. I was in actually no pain at all. I had no issue from the crash. My frame was not bent, but that 3-blade prop was destroyed and part of my net was ripped off. Eric Farewell thought it was pretty funny. So,
Yeah. Well, he sold you a new prop and a new hoop right then. There. You just bought the 3-blader. So, like you said,
I will tell you this. I laid that wing down. I put that motor off my back. I rolled my trike right out of the trailer and I took right back off. And then I went back and bought the new 3-blade because, man, everybody's going to screw up. I wasn't embarrassed. I don't care. I don't have any shame in my game. My ego has been beat up and destroyed over 1 million failures in my life. And I would tell anybody else in this sport that don't be embarrassed. Just own it and keep going.
I could dig for a while for a video here I've got of Brook's reaction after the fact. And I'll never forget what he said. He was like, play stupid games, Brian. You get stupid prizes. I was just cracking up, man. I was like, yeah, I get it. So, I mean, he took it in stride, he walked away from it and it cost him money. And, a lesson was learned for sure.
Yeah. So the lesson here is have a foot launch and a trike and a couple of wings. That way, in case you mess up, you just move to the next one and keep on flying. Right, Nick? There you go, Nick. That's why you get a trike, buddy.
Oh, is that why?
Right, that's why you get a trike. So in case you mess up your foot launch, just go over the trike.
Break a leg, you just jump on the trike.
Exactly. See, I mean, Brian would have just started flying. He's like, I broke a leg. I'm just going to pull out the trike.
Dude, it took me 3 months to foot launch again. I literally would have been in the air probably a month later had I had a trike. But at the time, the retractor trike was not on the market for the Parajet. So, it is what it is. Injuries just slow us down. Hopefully they don't keep us out of the sky because this is such a cool thing to do. And it's even cooler to do it safely and never get injured. So, that would be a good lesson too.
How is your ankle now?
It's good. It's been a little, about 15 months or something like that. But I haven't foot launched since I got my wheels. So I can, but I never do. I mean, the retractor trike's so awesome. I take off with a full tank every time, which I never did foot launching. And I don't have to worry about coming in downwind. As soon as I get off the ground, the front wheel goes under the seat and you don't even know you're on a trike. It's just like foot launch. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I suggest that anybody that has not flown a trike, maybe get up with PPGPirate.com and ask them about trike. What was the trike? What was that trike thing called, Brian?
The retractor trike. They call it the retractor trike because the front wheel retracts.
And then you go over to see Brook for what's the name of the class?
Brook's school is Red Pill Paramotors, and he has multiple classes available. One of them is a trike transition class for students that are already fully trained for foot launch that just want to add wheels to their roster. That's the class I went to, so he can definitely hook you up. He sent me up on a Fly Products Vertigo unit, which had all kind of safety features built into it. My retractor trike does not include A assist, and a cage on the back to protect the riser lines. So he's got the gear to set you up for success for sure. Red Pill Paramotor.
Well,
Thanks, Brian. We
ready
welcomed Brian
to
to the
share
Red Pill team last training. So he's really he's family. He's a trainer with us. We'll fly your next.
Oh man.
I got to show it. So they offered, they inducted me to the Red Pill team, and he gave me a brand new prop. Let me see if I can get it here. All right, let me turn my background off. Here we go. Wham, bam, check it out. I got the other half. It was signed by everybody
Cool.
that was in that class.
Cool.
So that was super awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool experience.
So for all the people that are listening, Brian, all the people that are listening, can you explain what you're showing us right now?
I'm showing them half a propeller, and it was a gift. It is a working propeller. It's not a broken one. It is actually usable as a good backup prop for me, even though I hate to use it because it's got the signatures on it. But he gave it to me as a gift to coming up there for helping out with the training that he had a couple weeks ago. And I will be back up there soon for our next session of training.
And you get that other side of that prop.
Yeah, I got the other side. It's in there.
Oh, okay.
Brook, man, I told you to give him that broken prop. He'd have been just as happy with that.
But no, it's cool to be part of a team. Just a shout out to the instructors out there. I'll always think highly of the instructors that taught me an aviator. They will always be good friends to me. And Nick, you and Brook have a lifelong friendship now, guaranteed. Sean, you got a school over in Arkansas, man, and you're teaching people to fly too. So, you got this podcast, and we try to highlight new pilots and give them opportunity to tell their stories, the good, the bad, the ugly. And, and on the backside of that, we got some of these guys here are instructors, and they're teaching people full time how to get into paramotors, and you are changing people's lives. You really are. Paramotoring has changed my life forever, and I will never give it up.
Here, buddy. I totally agree. Appreciate it. I think everybody here that's listening to us, everybody on the panel in the super chat, all agree. I mean, once you got the bug, you just want to keep on rolling with this. I mean, this is a lifelong thing. I mean, especially like I said before, I was in the military. I was in the Marine Corps, and since getting out of the Marine Corps, this is the only thing I've really ever felt that had a brotherhood just as tight as the Marine Corps. So to all my brothers and sisters out there, love y'all for sure.
We love you.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Hey, you got a couple donations in the chat there.
Oh, okay. Let me look real quick. I have not seen it. Will Fly sent us a $5 bill with a ha 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 sticker. We appreciate that. John Wayne sent us a 20 bill. We appreciate it with a gold sticker. That's really awesome. Appreciate that, guys. Definitely. All the donations definitely help out, and they go to keep this podcast going. We also got Kent Stamey said, great show and great guest. Always great to see the locals doing well with a $20 bill in the super chat. Yay. Definitely appreciate you so very much. I love you guys. I mean, you are my family, and I definitely appreciate you a bunch. Mom, I love you too. You're my mom, and you're always my family. So if you ever,
I'm so good at looking out walking the dogs today.
and if you ever fly a paramotor, then you're like a god to me.
No, I'm like I don't have any brains in my head.
I was waiting to see a hand coming out of the background with the slap. Back of the head.
It's like, shut up, Sean. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, guys, I know Jim was going to show us something. Jim, you got that all spooled up for us?
I do.
All right. What are we looking at here, buddy? Besides looking at your social security number and okay.
We got it. Oh man, look how flat it is.
I cruise down if I run out of fuel.
I love that. If I run out of fuel.
Hardly any out.
I think 1,500 feet's good. I better call in to the airport. And there we go.
So what's happening, Jim?
Well, now I'm
no more fuel.
trying to figure out where to land. Thankfully, there's
I don't know what to do with this thing.
So to find a field near
I'm
some
gonna
of the
stay completely trimmed out.
Where's the airport? Can you put the mouse on it on the screen?
The airport is to the left or to the right over here. Might
Okay.
be able to see it in a bit. There's this farm is about
1,300 feet.
half a mile from the airport.
Do you know the trick where you put your foot out to see how far you can glide?
No,
35 kilometers an hour. Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna make it there.
Oh, that's never good.
So what are you thinking? What are you thinking that you're going to do?
I'm going to ask you for help here in a second.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna stay close to Charlie's.
Charlie was directly below me.
Because there's
And
a
it
truck
does-
there.
How high are you? Because it doesn't even look like you're dropping.
I don't know. What do you do?
It doesn't, does it?
I was 1,500 feet and I left my trims out because I wanted to be able to go as far as I could and have my glide ratio really good. But then when I switch directions here, I'm going into the wind there. That changes a bunch of stuff. You can see in a few seconds, I'm getting blown.
Wow.
Really off
Okay,
course.
so the wind is definitely coming out of the west at the moment.
So are you still trying to figure out where to land at this point?
You can watch right here. You'll see when I put my trims in, all
I'm
of a
gonna
sudden
pull
my
my trims
descent
in.
rate really increases.
To right there. So I got a relatively good lift.
So what made you turn? Because you know when you turn, you're going to lose altitude. Were you trying to lose altitude?
Yeah, and I wanted to be by this farm because
Get
there's
out
a
of my
truck in the
seat.
farmyard there.
That makes sense. You don't have to walk as far.
See
Absolutely.
there? Oh, I can't pause it. There's a truck right there.
I think
I
the
should've put my
wind is going
trims
to switch
all the
direction.
way down because I'm going straight for the road right now.
Yeah. Do you see any power lines? 'Cause that's what I'd be looking for.
No power line.
Yeah, I don't see any.
Any traffic?
Yeah. You
Oh,
can
I
look that.
waited too long and now I'm turning away.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right. Get out of the seat. Turn into the wind. Oh, the wind switched directions. Oh, shoot. Well, I definitely didn't want to go into that. Wow. Okay, guys. Whew.
All right, go ahead and
What?
put that on mute.
On the ground. Run out of fuel.
How do I get out of it?
Left
Had to
corner.
run hard on that landing because there was a switch of wind at the bottom.
Go ahead and put it on pause for a second. Just put on pause. Just pause the video for a second.
Bottom center. There you go.
Yeah.
So in that video, you can see the wing landed right in the ditch.
Okay, because that's one of the things I couldn't really tell. So go ahead and walk us through what happened for all the people that are listening to us on the podcast that wasn't able to actually see the video. What happened, buddy?
Well, I ran out of fuel, obviously. I was a little short. It was a long flight. I should have had 2 hours, or I should have had 2.5 hours of fuel, but for some reason I burnt through 6.5 liters an hour this flight. I don't know why, but it was bad. And here, well, I just circled. I wanted to be landing next to this guy's farmyard because I knew the guy, and I figured if there was going to be a problem, he could come and help me out right away. And but the wind was coming from the south at the ground, but about 50 feet up, it was coming from the west. And so, but you didn't know that for sure until you got into the wind, especially there. And I did that last S turn. I probably should have put my trims in at all the way in right from the very beginning, so I would descend a lot faster. And then I wouldn't have had to do that last S turn.
If you pulled your trims all the way in, you're going to descend a lot slower.
No, well, what you do is your glide ratio decreases with this wing. With the Mac Paracharger, it's designed for paragliding, and it's also designed for catching thermals. So when you put the trims all the way in, what happens is the wing has a very high descent rate, or it doesn't go as fast. It doesn't move forward as fast. So you're dropping faster. Well, maybe not fast, dropping faster, but you're not going forward as fast. And so if I had pulled it all the way in, I probably would have been able to land before the road, no problem. But I was trying to keep it in the neutral. I've been practicing it, leaving it at neutral. And because it's a lot more firm, it's a lot more stable at neutral. And you got a lot more flare authority. And
this is an A-wing?
I don't know if it's an A. It's an A-B wing.
Okay.
Hey, Jim,
you guys have Mac Paris. It's a Charger.
Are you flying more aggressively than you used to?
It's a high B.
Yeah, Charger's not an A.
To high B? Okay.
Yeah, it's a B.
Oh, I didn't know that. Because it's really slow. Like if I put my trims all the way in, it'll compare to a Mojo. It's pretty cool that way. And it's like fluffy and so light. And I actually flew the first 30 hours on it with my trims in, landing trims in and taking off trims in. But now I'm trying to get to trims neutral and trying to get that dialed in.
Yeah.
So trims in is, sorry, go ahead, Will.
Well, I was just going to say 6.5 liters per hour is atrocious, even for a Moster. I mean, what's going on there?
That's what I was saying.
Oh, dude, I went from 4.5 liters flying normal in a Mojo an hour to 8 liters an hour. I fly 7 to 8 liters an hour almost every time I fly now in a Moster 185 with a Spider 3, 100% loaded, 100% loaded, not over. It depends on how aggressively. If I take it easy now, I'm still 5.5, 6 liters an hour. But the way I fly, where I'm always climbing and then doing spirals and doing wing overs down low, or you're staying in the throttle a lot. And you know, I'm flying I'm heavy loaded on the wing, and I'm flying trims out all the time. So today I burnt 7 liters in 55 minutes.
Well, but you're heavy on your wing. And he's light on his.
Yeah. So it makes a huge difference on just how you fly, you know.
Were you real aggressive on the throttle, Jim?
No, not really. I think it was because of the wind today. Today, I was actually planning to go straight west to go for breakfast. And then I ended up having to go to a totally different town, different direction, because the wind was so strong. And I think that was some part of it. But also I have a flotation device now. I have a U-float. And I think that U-float puts a lot of it slows me down. So I need more power to go forward. Yeah, wind resistance. Exactly.
It's drag.
I think that makes it.
You add is drag.
Yeah. I was hoping that the weight, though, would give me a little bit more but it's not very heavy.
Well, that's a good question because I don't use that much fuel, but my Moster's new. So as they age, do they tend to use more per hour?
That's possible.
They could. I noticed that when mine starts using more fuel, I got to pull that head, clean off the carbon, and there's that little exhaust port. Clean that exhaust port out because if that starts to get clogged up, you burn more fuel.
I've never seen that exhaust port clogged even after like 400 hours.
I'm getting ready to do the 100-hour service on my Moster 185. It's got 118 hours on it, and I'm going to completely tear it down and redo all that stuff. So we'll find out if it makes any difference in the fuel consumption. But
I think it's just heavy-handedness.
Dude, I'm flying way more aggressive than I used to. So, I mean, I know that's where it's at for me.
Same.
I mean,
I also have a wood prop, and I think that makes a big difference for fuel consumption. At least I'm hoping, because I'm getting a carbon fiber one coming.
I think once you get that carbon fiber, you're going to see a big difference in performance and also fuel efficiency.
I sure hope so. But my exhaust could be getting plugged because I was using a 60-to-1 oil ratio with the Dominator oil, and I just cut that back. So I cut it back to 50. And I'm not getting as much oil coming out onto my prop, which I'm very happy about.
Actually,
That's the other way around.
Yeah, 50-to-1 is richer than 60-to-1. It has more oil. So you actually,
sorry, I was doing 40-to-1.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. The Dominator is good, man. That the modal 800, man. I don't know. It'll leave some junk on your spark plug, but that's what Videosity requires for the first year to maintain warranty, is you run it there well. But we could spend another hour talking about oils. Let's not get sidetracked on that.
I know what kind of oil you use, Brian.
I got a bunch of it now, thanks to you, Will. Appreciate it, man. That was good timing right there.
Yeah, well,
somebody. Anyway, I don't know if Nick and I know Sean probably needs to go. He's got his mom there with him, and I just want to say thank you to all of y'all. This is a very fun part of my life. I'm sorry that I missed the last couple Mondays. I was traveling and living life to the fullest. But when I'm not, I will do my best to be here. And
but you forgot to mention that you traveled through my town. You called me up and we met up and hung out for a little bit. So it's okay that you are not on the show when you travel through my town and we hang out.
Yeah, man. Hey, me and my brother coming back from Colorado on an elk hunt trip, and we're going to stop in Conway, Arkansas to grab some dinner. For damn sure, I'm going to call my boy Sean, man. And he came over there and I had my first red robin there, and it was cool. Got to meet the brother and hang out. No doubt. There's times when I pass through some of your towns and I don't remember to call you, and I do apologize. I went to North Carolina on this last trip, and I had several people calling me out for not looking them up, but I know dozens of pilots in the state, man, and I was there to help Brook train people. So, we do the best we can. These fly-ins are awesome because we all get to hang out and just kick back and relax and fly. So we'll see you there, man, for sure.
Absolutely. It looks like Walter in the chat said, question for Jim. Did he fly downwind on his first leg, then come home into wind?
Well, this time I was flying crosswind. The wind was coming out of the west and I was flying south, and then I was flying north because I was going like 5 kilometers an hour. So like 3 miles an hour into the wind. The only way I could get anywhere was if I was right close to the ground, and I like being high.
I think we all do. That's why we're paramotor pilots. We like to be, high altitude. We love that stuff. Absolutely. I agree.
take the low level hay bale stuff. I don't care. Y'all call me out on it. It's all good, man.
Actually, if you guys, I'm going to get this video up. I'm going to put the whole thing up, and I'll try and maybe I'll mess with some chapters and see if I can get the chapters in there. But there's some really cool spots where I do have to go, where I went down because I wanted to go to this one particular area, which was far west. And I had to go through such turbulent air. I would love your guys' feedback on it because I don't know if it was safe. But I got down low and I was, for lack of a better word, flying across the prairie there. And then when I went up again about 50 feet up, and it was like I hit a wall and I was not going anywhere again. So I'll send it to you guys and you can let me know.
I got a question. What do you check as far as winds aloft before you go fly? What apps and what sites do you check?
I check windy.
Yeah. Do you check anything for winds aloft? Because wind, as you can tell, it changes as you gain altitude. There are different types of apps that are out there. One of them that I use is Ventusky. That's a good one to actually show the different winds aloft. Another one that's free and easy to use is a hot air balloon, RyanCarlton.com. It's an actual website that you go to that shows the winds aloft. I suggest that you check that out before you go flying so you don't have these particular issues. And it's very possible you were flying with the wind up high, right? And then you turned around and at a different level, you were going into the wind. So you have to squeeze the trigger, you're flying, harder, you're burning more fuel. And that's that's possible how you're burning so much fuel. What do you guys think? Panel. How is he burning so much fuel? Probably going into the wind?
It's possible. I know you're talking about winds aloft, and Ryan Carlton, I think it's probably a little bit more accurate for winds aloft. It's a hot air balloon site. Windy does show winds aloft. I check it regularly using the North American model, but I would say 20% of the time, windy is not accurate for winds aloft here. And I don't know, maybe when you get more mountainous situations, that may be more exaggerated. But my go-to fallback that is always 100% accurate, no matter where you're at, is if in doubt, release a helium balloon and watch it go up. And watch it and see how it behaves all the way up to 1,000 feet. If it starts doing some crazy barrel rolls up there between 200 and 300 feet, then, well, to stay your butt on the ground.
True.
Yeah, I use windy. I agree, it's not very accurate, but it does provide different models, and the one that closest matches my location is in blue, but it can be completely different for another location. And I say close, it's not. Brian, I think you got the number right. So I use windy for the kind of in the future, long out kind of forecast type stuff, but I use and rely on Ryan Carlton. It's been spot on.
I agree.
I only use that, an hour, 2 hours before my flight. I don't rely on that for forecast.
Absolutely.
Guys, does Ryan Carlton, does it have an app or is it just a website?
Just the website right now. I don't think it has an app. Okay. But the website is really reliable, and actually on a cell phone, it's dialed in for people to use a cell phone. So it's pretty intuitive and pretty easy to use.
Perfect.
Nick, do you use anything as far as some sort of windy or other apps to show you winds and winds aloft and your weather?
I usually use windy, honestly. I'm going to start using Ryan Carlton a little bit more, but you can check the winds aloft on windy. I don't know if you at least you can change the elevation to see like wind direction and a rough estimate as to what the wind speed is doing. If it's green, oh, that's danger, stay away. And you can tell, but you guys are saying it's not always the most accurate. So I'm definitely going to check out Ryan Carlton.
For my particular location, I mean, you might have a different experience altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, windy is great on the ground for me, but it's no good out above 50 feet. I find it's a common thing where the wind is going a different direction when I get up.
And that's wind shear, and you got to be really careful about that too, bud.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a new pilot, best thing you can do is just use all these tools. Have a log book, your first 50 flights in your area or whatever. Make a note of what these apps say, and then what your experience was from them being accurate. And then before long, you can be like, okay, the winds are out of the east here. You know what? I probably can't rely on windy. I better check Ryan Carlton, and you kind of get a feel for the area. You use all the tools to the best of your ability, but ultimately sometimes you can't rely on the technology. You just have to look up at the sky and go with your gut feeling. What do you see?
Yeah, exactly. And if you do use windy, as you guys have heard, that there are different models. And if you use NAM, that's North American model. If you're here in the States, that's a little bit more accurate most of the places. But as Will said, yeah, it's not accurate. Other models are accurate where he is. So definitely have to look around and kind of figure out what what works for you. Ryan Carlton is a really good one. Ventu Sky is another one that's really good because it also shows thunderstorms where the rain is. The temperatures of wind aloft or temperatures aloft too. So I know that sometimes I take off and it's like 60 degrees on the ground, but I'm going to go up, 1,000 feet and it's going to be 80. That's nice.
Now, John Wayne in the chat has mentioned UAV a couple times. I am not familiar with UAV. I will have to look that up.
Yeah, I haven't used that either. Have you seen what they have on PPG Zone?
Yeah, PPGZone.com has a really good wind app also.
Yeah, Aaron I says he uses that. But the neat thing about that is it shows windy on top and then the winds aloft below. And
also too, just like we were talking about earlier, over at ppgzone.com, if you have an account there, you can actually go to the interactive map where you can see where other pilots are. So if you're flying around or you're in a particular area, you can look on that map and see what other pilots are around you and who they are, get up with them, and then you can probably go fly. Pretty cool.
I think I registered for that a long time ago when it first came out. I think I put my location on there, but if you're going through Conway, Arkansas, I know somebody you can fly through. He might go flying with you.
We have at least 200 pilots here in Central Arkansas.
And
not all of them are registered, but I know a bunch of them. So if you come over this way, we could probably get up with a bunch of people and go fly. Have like a mini fly-in.
Well,
guys, anything else before we head on out? It's actually after 9. This has been a 2-hour podcast so far. This is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
No, safe flights, everybody.
Go ahead, Brian.
Just say everybody be safe out there, man, and get in the air if the weather allows, and be a good steward of the sport, pay it forward, and continue living the dream, man. We are lucky to do what we do.
That's right.
Absolutely. And definitely appreciate PPGPirate, Brook, and Nick. What do people call you, Nick? Do they have a nickname for a nickname? Do they have a nickname for Nick?
Chop Chewy. I've earned that one for sure.
Chop Chewy. All right.
But
like
it did
that.
really fit, so I don't guess I have a designated nickname yet.
You do have a nickname. It's Nick Jones.
He does have a nickname.
He does. He actually has a nickname. He's the other Nick.
That's right. The other Nick.
Lots.
Yeah,
of
we know lots of Nicks, no doubt.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I know I
So-
get them all confused.
So, PPG Pirate at ppgpirate.com. Tell us a little bit about you, your school. How do we get up with you? And definitely appreciate you for jumping on here, buddy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me and Nick and Brian and the extended Red Pill Paramotor training team. If you want to get in touch with us, right now we're booking the rest of our season through Carolina PPG. So reach out to Carolina PPG, or you can reach out to Red Pill Paramotor on Facebook or ppgpirate.com. You can find me there. Thanks again for having us. We're here to train and take you on tandem flights, get you on a trike transition, or whatever it takes to get you in the sky. We're just here to help you out. And I've got a dedicated team of awesome dudes, and we'd love to meet you. So reach out to us. Otherwise, we'd love to see you back here on the Monday night chat and talk.
Absolutely, positively. And Nick, the one that does have a nickname, Nick Jones, thank you very much for joining us tonight and give us a little brief experience of your amazing almost 50 flights in 3 different states, all the cool stuff you went to, all the XCs that you've done. Definitely appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for jumping on here.
Well, thank you for having me, man. It's been an awesome ride, and I look forward to many, many more flights in the future.
Absolutely.
And, some more adventuring.
And don't forget, we're going to put this on iTunes and other paramotor podcast apps out there. So if you ever want to hear yourself for a couple of hours, go to paratalk.org and check it out. And you also can just search for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. But Nick, man, I appreciate you, buddy, for jumping on here. Any words of wisdom before we head on out?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're thinking about doing it, just do it. It's totally a life-changing experience. It really is. I almost didn't do it. Like I said, I thought about it and then, kind of put it on the back burner for a while, and I'm glad I made that jump eventually. So anybody's considering doing it, just try to make it happen.
And wear good boots.
And wear good boots. Absolutely. You don't want to be another chop shoey.
No,
Or at least,
no.
yeah.
Chop shoey is okay, but not chop feety.
Chop feety, that's right.
Yeah, I got
Dude,
you.
your nickname has got to be nickname. I mean, that's perfect. As many nicks as we've got, that one would stick.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
That would stick for Nick. I think that would. Yeah, let's do it. It'll stick for Nick. And we can't forget about Brian Haybellwaller. He was over there to watch Nick actually take his first kind of flight, but not his main flight, but was over there watching. And of course, Brian Haybellwaller, he is the guy that is our most popular guy on the panel. We definitely appreciate you jumping on here and hanging out with us. But Brian, any words of wisdom before we head on out?
Yeah, man. Look out for hay bales, and if you take an SIV, pull left brake. No, experiences make you a better pilot. Everything we do in life, all the mistakes we make, all the things we do right, they all make us stronger, better pilots and people. The best thing we can do is learn from them and learn from other people's mistakes and just use some common sense. I would say one thing about Nick is he made a good decision, and that decision was to get proper training. And he went and got proper training. He got somebody that showed him, how to do these things, and he'll be the safer for it. He learned about target fixation on his 3rd flight. I paid a bigger price at a much later flight to learn that same lesson. So, all these are valuable experiences. Us coming on here, sharing with people is valuable. Putting our videos out, interviewing new pilots, and like I said a couple times already, paying it forward. We were lucky enough to have somebody to show us how to do this. So let's make sure if we find somebody that wants to get into the sport, we point them in the right direction and give them proper direction. If you're not that person, point them the right direction.
Exactly. And just in case you didn't know, we have product placement. So go to paralifeppg.com if you want like the coolest merch.
Oh, yeah. By the way, shout out to Mark McElroy, because I now have a awesome Paralife mug that, if you don't notice, it matches my wing in the background, blue and yellow. So, Mark, you're the man.
He is the man. I know. I have one of his shirts too. Just saying.
Hey, who has one of Mark's shirts? If you do, raise your hand on the panel, and if you do in the super chat, shout out to Mark in the super chat. Let him know that you got one of his shirts or one of his merch, because he is definitely awesome. I got my car has Paralife on it too. My mom saw it for the first time. She goes, "That is really cool." Yes, Mark gave it to me. It was amazing. I love it. So shout out to Mark for sure.
I got a better question. Who has one of Mark's shirts and had to pay for it? Oh, come on, you guys. You didn't have to pay for it.
Hey, Bull did.
I did.
Actually paid for it. I bought Mark's first shirt.
You
I
did?
bought Mark's first shirt. Yeah, I did.
Well, he charged me $80. What did he charge you?
Only-
I'll just give him Mark a hard time.
That's
He's a great
secret. Hey, just so you know, it is the most comfortable shirt you will ever wear.
It is very comfortable.
I agree.
Polyester 50
Yeah.
I've seen that
Yeah.
same ratio on other shirts, and they were not nearly as comfortable. I don't get it. It must be in the weave, but it is literally a very comfortable shirt. And
Absolutely.
we have helped him sell quite a few of them, because I don't know how many times I've been fly in and somebody asked me about my shirt and they went and bought one from him. So,
Yeah.
He's got a good product.
Yeah, I employ you guys to go to paralifeppg.com, check out the merch, and then go over to iloveppg.com and compare the merch. I mean, buy one from each and check them out and see which one you like the best.
That's right. That's how we do it.
All right.
Absolutely.
We
This to
also-
say how good of a guy Sean is. He spent all this time advertising Mark's shirts on Paralife.
Yeah.
And he's trying to sell shirts too. He's got his own store. So, I mean, Sean, you're the man. You got good products out there too. And next time I'll wear my Clear Prop TV shirt.
Yeah, those Clear Prop TV shirts, I'm going to have to revamp a little bit. But hey, when you first start off, you're kind of working with, I don't know, nothing. You're just trying to figure it out. But thanks, Brian. Appreciate you, buddy. We also got willflyppg.com. He puts out the best videos. I mean, if you think Tuckers are good, you need to go over to Will Fly PPG, subscribe to that channel, hit that bell notification, and watch his videos. Hands down, they are amazing. Will Fly, tell us a little bit about what you do and your channel, buddy.
Well, thank you for that. No, I'm never going to beat Tucker.
I don't know. I think you're getting kind of close.
I think so.
I thoroughly enjoy flying paramotors and documenting what I do, my experiences, and putting them on YouTube. So yeah, check me out. I'm Will Fly on YouTube or willflyppg.com. And I want to say really thank you very much, Nick and Brook, for spending the time with us tonight, because you're what it's all about, the brand new guy in the sport. You know what I mean? It just brings everything back, and it's just awesome, man. So yeah, keep living the dream, guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Love the very first flight. First flights are amazing. I always love first flights. And, and in case you didn't know about Brian's channel, you can go to ppgbrian.com. I don't know. Did you say that? Your ppgbrian.com?
We mentioned it earlier. I'm not very good at plugging myself, but actually that sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Hey, which you do on your own time.
All right, we'll just end it there, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? I'm going to go plug myself right now. All right.
All right.
I make YouTube videos, and I have fun with it, and I aspire to be as good as people like Will Fly putting out videos, man. He is somebody that I look up to. He's a role model for me, for sure.
You definitely look up to him when he's flying overhead.
Yeah, every time.
All right. We also got our friend Jim from Canada. He's the one that helped us put together those calendars and printing them out so we could give them away to different people. We gave them away to some fly-ins over to Resurgence PPG and a bunch of other people just to take and have. So thank you, Jim. We appreciate you, buddy. If somebody wants to make calendars or get things printed through your business, how do we get there and what do you do?
You can get to me through carepp.com, and it's got all my contact info there, and we will help you out with whatever you want. We can print pretty much anything, and stickers, calendars, all sorts of different projects.
Awesome. So that's carepp.com. Wow. Whatever that was. That was crazy loud. So you have carepp.com, and that's your business. You know, it'd be really cool if you had careppg.com. That way it could be like for your YouTube channel.
Oh, that's an awesome idea. In fact, you made me do it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely. So if you want to see Jim's videos and stuff, make sure you go over to careppg.com, and that is his YouTube channel, and he will be posting that really cool video up soon. So make sure you go there, hit subscribe, and hit that bell notification. We also got our ParaMomUSA.com, Linda Anderson. Is everything okay? You kind of went loud there for a second. All right. I muted you because something happened. But if you need to get up with us and you want to...
I'm here.
Oh, you are? I don't know what happened, girl.
Well, I got like football going on, right? And you know how you have the cable, and then they have this new thing now, and they go, if you have it on mute and you're not, like you're watching it, but you're not, and then they put on the screen, are you still there? Are you still there? Seriously? It's scary.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway.
If anybody wants to be on our show, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson. If you go to ParaMomUSA.com, it forwards to her Facebook page, and just let her know that that you want to be on the show. Now, you can go every Monday to clearpoptv.com, and that is our show right now. If you want to listen to it, just go to paratalk.org or just search your favorite podcasting app for PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. On Tuesday, we got PPG Lear. That's a new one that Shane used to do, but it's just kicking back and relaxing and talking paramotors and whatever you want to talk about. Hopefully it's mostly paramotors, and it's over at PPG Lear. That's LEAR.com. On Wednesday, you can go over and see an all girls podcast at paramotorgirl.com, and that's with Flying Flamingo Jade. And then something's happening on Thursdays. What's that, Linda Anderson?
Oh, yeah. Hello. Yes, Thursday night we have paraglidingtalk.com with my son, Robert Michaels, who's been a paraglider since 2017. And every Thursday we get together, and it's an awesome show. A lot of shenanigans, a lot of good information, cool guests and everything. So, hey, you guys all jump on. Don't be shy. It's a lot of fun. Thursday night, paraglidingtalk.com.
Boy, you are a good PR girl. I'm telling you, you're awesome. And of course, nothing's going on Fridays or Saturdays, but we got our Paramotor Nation on Sunday. So I'm sure you already know about that. I mean, they are the biggest podcast, live podcast that goes out all the time. So definitely check that out. So Nick Jones, any last words before we say goodbye, sir?
I just appreciate you guys having me on. And have enjoyed talking with you all.
All right, buddy, man. I really appreciate you jumping on and chatting with us. I cannot wait to see what's going to be going on over the next 50 flights that you have with all the adventures that you're doing now and how many states you jumped into already. I can't even imagine. So please keep up with us and hang out with us anytime that you want, buddy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. PPG Pirate, thank you, sir. Brian Haybill Waller, Will Fly PPG, Jim from Canada. We appreciate you, buddy, with all those calendars at carepp.com. Paramount USA, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Don't forget tomorrow, ppglear.com, and we'll catch you tomorrow and next week, always and forever, here on this channel. Love you guys. Peace out.
Chatters. Love ya.
Peace.
Peace to the peace, yo, yo.
Oh.